right, so this is section 1.1.2, evaluating multivariable expressions. So let's jump right into it. This is very similar to the last one when we just had one variable, except, now we have two variables. We have m and n in this case, and we know both values. M is said to be equal to 6, and n is said to be equal to 2. We have this very simple looking expression, mn. And remember, when there's no symbol between numbers or variables, which, remember, variables are numbers, we just don't know them yet. That means multiplication anyway, so that could be viewed as m times n. That's the same thing as what is shown there. All right, so we can rewrite it in parentheses. So now we'll do parentheses for m and for n, and we'll be plugging in 6 for the m, 2 for n. And this is just multiplication. 6 times 2 is what that says right there. That's how we read that. And 6 times 2 is equal to 12. And that is what you would submit as an answer for this kind of problem. So level 1, I'm going to show you another level 1 problem. So here's another one. This time it's g and h. And we have subtraction, g minus h. So I'll write out the expression with parentheses at first. So g is 9. H is 2. So if you don't like those parentheses, in this case, since we're not multiplying, we can just get rid of those. It's just 9 minus 2. 9 minus 2, and that is equal to 7, is what you would submit for a problem like that. Now, a level 2 problem, notice that we've got yz plus y. So we've got a couple things going on here. So there's going to be 2 steps in solving this one after we plug it in. So just writing this out with parentheses, so there's no numbers that we see yet. So it's going to look like all parentheses at first. So that's for the first y, that's for the z, those are being multiplied, plus the y value again. All right, so y is 0, so it'll be 0 in the first y position and 0 in the second y position. And we've got z is -2, so that's just going to go in the second spot there. Okay, order of operations. Multiply, so this is multiplication, right? Multiply before we add. So we're not even going to look at that addition yet. 0 times -2 is 0. Well, actually 0 times anything is 0, and we still have plus 0. We don't need to have the parentheses, so I'll go ahead and drop them. And this is probably one of the easiest additions you've ever done. Nothing plus nothing. 0 plus 0 is 0. So that is what you would submit, is 0 for a problem like that. I've got another level 2 type problem. So here again we have 2 variables. D is 4, F is -9. So it's an addition and then a subtraction. So D plus F minus, and this one we know is 4. So D is 4, F is -9. And we can just add this, so this is, remember the order of operations, PEMDAS. So all we have in this problem is addition, subtraction. So we can skip all the rest of this for right now. And since addition and subtraction are on the same level, we just go from left to right. So we'll do so we kind of just like you're reading from left to right. So this addition comes before the subtraction, so we'll do the addition first. So 4 plus -9. So the negative number is bigger, so I know the answer will be negative. When you're adding a negative plus a positive, whichever number is bigger, that's the sign. This sign will be the same as that number. So in this case, -9 is bigger. And then I know that I can take the difference between 9 and 4, which is 5. So the answer is negative 5. That's how I think about that. You can always, I would encourage you to, try it mentally, then maybe double check yourself with the calculator. And then we can drop down the minus 4. Okay, and then now in this case, I like to think of the number line. That's another way you can think of these. So think of the number line, you're on negative 5, right, because that's the first number, and you're subtracting 4. Subtracting means go left. So you're going left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where would you end up? Well, notice that it's further into the negatives. Well, 4 to the left of negative 5 is negative 9. Okay. And that's what you would submit for this problem. Now, level 3 is going to get you into the 80 range. So we still have two variables. In this case, it's u is 0, v is negative 7. We've got an exponent involved there. So actually, so there's an exponent, there's multiplication going on between the u and the v squared there, and then there's subtraction. So this is like a 3-step problem is what separates this. So first writing it in parentheses, so u, v, the v is squared or has the exponent of 2, that's called squared, and then the other v. So u is 0. V is negative 7 in both of these spots. Okay. All right. Now, you can be clever about this one because I see that we're multiplying with 0. So technically, you would do the exponent first, negative 7 times negative 7, right? Which would be positive 49. Just so you know, that technically you would do that before you would multiply, but it really doesn't matter what this would equal because whenever you multiply it by 0, that's going to be 0. So I would just go straight to 0 on that side. And now I'm subtracting a negative 7. 0 minus negative 7. So if you remember, there's a trick that when you are subtracting a negative, so negatives mean do the opposite of. So those two negative signs, you can think of the subtraction as a negative, can cancel out and become adding a positive. So that becomes plus 7. Now, I want to explain why that works, though, with the number line. So if you're starting at 0, and subtraction tells you to go left. So you're thinking, I'm going to go left at first. But whenever you have a negative number, it says do the opposite direction. So when I say 0 minus negative 7, that actually means go right 7. So instead of going to the left, we're going to flip directions and go right 7. And of course, to the right 7 is going to bring you to 7, which is the same as adding 7. So it's so that's what negative numbers mean. They mean do the opposite direction as what you normally would. So yep, subtraction usually means going left. Subtract a negative, hey, actually go the opposite direction, go right. So anyway, 7 would be the final result there. Let's take a look at another level 3 problem. So this one's got 3 variables. So f is negative 9, g is negative 3, h is 7. So let's set this up with parentheses at first. So we've got g squared minus f plus h. So let's go ahead and plug those in. So f is negative 9, I'll put that in the middle. G is negative 3, that's going to go in the front spot. And then h is 7, so that'll go in the end. Okay, got to follow the order of operations, must do the exponent first, right? Because you would look inside the parentheses, but each of those are just single numbers. So that means negative 3 times another negative 3, right? So negative 3 times another negative 3. That's what that means. And that will be positive 9. So that'll be 9 minus a negative, okay? So again, we just talked about that. If you remember, minus a negative can just be viewed as adding, okay? Adding a positive, which is much easier to think. So if you can remember that rule, that minus a negative becomes addition of a positive number, it'll help you out. Okay, so now we just got to add. So 9 plus 9 is 18. 18 plus 7 is 25. And that is our final result on this one. Now, level 4. Again, this is beyond the required score of 80. But let's take a look at this and see what it would be like. So we've got these numbers. They're decimals. So that's the main thing here. But the setup is the same. Okay, so I'm going to kn, so k multiplied by n minus m to the second power. All right, so k is negative 9. M is 3.3. That goes at the last spot, and n is 3.9. That goes in the middle here. All right, so we can actually do two steps at once here. We can do the exponent, and we could multiply because they don't impact each other. So even though exponents are technically done first. And to be honest, I will need a calculator to do these. So negative 9 times 3.9, that's equal to negative 35.1. Negative 35.1 minus 3.3 to the second power. So that's 3.3 times 3.3, which is 10.89. 10.89. And now we are subtracting. Let's think about what kind of number it would be. So if you're starting with a negative number and you're subtracting something from it, this means go to the left, 10.89. And it's not negative, so it's not going to flip directions. It's going to go left. So this is going to be about negative 45, negative 46, something like that. And actually, I'm pretty confident it'll be negative 45.99. I really believe, because you can just add these two numbers together. But we know the answer will be negative, I should say. So let's check that theory. Negative 35.1 minus 10.89. There you go, negative 45.99. An interesting number. And that's what you would submit here.